Have you ever walked away from an interaction and hated yourself for staying quiet? You didn't want to stay silent. You just froze. Your heart was pounding, your mind went blank, and later alone, you kept replaying the moment. Why didn't I say something? Today, we're changing that. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was the annual holiday party, a blur of festive lights and forced cheer. Jason, a colleague I barely knew, cornered me by the snack table. He launched into this hilarious story about a mistake I'd made on a project, twisting it, exaggerating it, all while a few people nearby started to listen. My face flushed. I could feel all eyes on me, even though they weren't. My mind screamed, "Say something. Defend yourself." But my mouth? It just formed this pathetic, awkward laugh. My inner panic was a roaring fire, but on the outside, I plastered on a forced smile. Later, the aftershock hit. Shame washed over me, cold and heavy. I replayed the moment 100 times, dissecting every micro-expression, every word I didn't say. For weeks, I avoided Jason, crossing hallways, ducking into offices, all because the memory of that moment made me doubt my worth. Picture a room going quiet, all eyes on you, and nothing coming out of your mouth. That's the silent suffering. Staying silent isn't always the mature response, in fact. It often reinforces your own invisibility. Every time you laugh it off, every time you freeze, you chip away at your self-respect. Think of it like this. It's like handing someone the pen and letting them write your story. You're giving them permission to define you, to diminish you, and to dictate your narrative. Each silence is a brick removed from the foundation of your confidence. Let's do a quick mind exercise. Close your eyes for a moment, or just look away from the screen. Think back to the last time someone made you feel small. It could be a snide comment, a dismissive look, a joke at your expense. Can you feel that familiar knot in your stomach? Now imagine that moment happening again, right here, right now. What would you say? What would you do? Be honest, did you freeze again? Or did your voice finally come out? The Jason incident was a turning point. I was done. Done being quiet. Done shrinking. This isn't about being aggressive, though. This isn't about yelling or causing a scene. It's about reclaiming your ground with dignity, without shouting. It was about a revelation. I wasn't weak, I was untrained. And that, I realized, was something I could change. It was about understanding that confidence isn't an innate trait, it's a muscle you develop. Before we get to the solution, let's identify the traps we often fall into. There are 3 common mistakes that keep us stuck in that silent suffering. Mistake number 1, the fake laugh. Remember my awkward laugh with Jason? That's it. Laughing at yourself, or at their insult, isn't diffusing the situation. It's agreeing with the insult. It's signaling that their behavior is acceptable, even funny. Mistake number 2, the desperate explanation. This is when you over-explain, backtrack, or try to justify yourself. Oh, well, what I meant was... No. Over-explaining accepts their premise of your guilt or inadequacy. It puts you on the defensive from the start. Mistake number 3, the frozen statue. This is the one we all know too well. Silence, stillness. Your body locks up, your mind goes blank. Silence feels safe in the moment. You avoid conflict, but it looks like defeat. It reinforces the idea that you have nothing to say, that their words have rendered you powerless. I've been there for all 3. The worst for me was the desperate explanation, trying to logically defend myself when someone made a snarky comment about my leadership style. All it did was make me feel smaller and them feel more powerful. The Jason comeback, then came the next holiday party. And yes, Jason was there. And yes, he made another comment, a subtle jab about my attention to detail, a veiled reference to the previous year's mistake. But this time, I didn't panic. My heart still hammered, but my mind was clearer. I took a breath. I met his gaze, calmly, directly. And I said, without a trace of anger, but with unwavering resolve. Jason, are you okay? You tend to criticize others when you're unsure of your own work. Silence, not my silence, but his. The spotlight, which had been blindingly on me, suddenly swiveled, illuminating him. He stammered, mumbled something about a joke, and quickly moved away. No yelling, no shame, just calm truth. For the first time, in a situation where I usually crumbled, I felt proud. I had finally found my voice. That moment taught me a lot. It wasn't about being aggressive. It was about intelligent, strategic responses. Here are the 5 strategies that can help you find your voice and reclaim your power. Strategy 1. The spotlight reversal. Like I did with Jason, shift the focus back to them with a calm, curious question. If someone asks a prying question, instead of answering it, you can say, "That's interesting. What's your take then?" It disarms them and puts them on the spot. Strategy 2. The calm mirror. This is subtle but powerful. You reflect their energy, but without judgment or emotion. If someone makes a backhanded compliment, instead of getting defensive, try, "Thanks for noticing. You're always so attentive." It forces them to hear their own words reflected back without you taking the bait. Strategy 3. The power pause. Sometimes the best response is no immediate response. Take a deep breath. Maintain eye contact. Let the silence hang in the air for a moment. Then, calmly move on or change the subject. No reaction equals power. It shows you're not rattled, you're in control. Strategy 4. The humor shield. This isn't about being sarcastic or defensive, but about using wit to deflect. If someone tries to corner you with a critical comment, you might respond with a lighthearted, unexpected quip like, "I'm full of surprises, you should try it sometime." It humanizes you and makes it harder for them to maintain their aggressive stance. Strategy 5. The genuine question. This is incredibly effective because it forces them to confront their own behavior. Calmly and genuinely ask, "What were you trying to achieve by saying that?" Or, "What was the intention behind that training?" It puts the onus on them to explain their rudeness, often exposing their discomfort or poor intentions. I know this might sound like a lot to remember in the moment. That's why practice is key. I literally practiced these in the mirror. I even wrote some on flashcards and kept them in my wallet. The path to real confidence, to finding your voice when it matters most, starts with intentional preparation. It's not about being quick-witted in the moment, but about having a mental toolkit ready to deploy. Here's the wild part, the unexpected ally. After that exchange with Jason at the holiday party, I did something I never thought I would. A few days later, I approached him privately. "Hey Jason," I said. "Our exchange at the party seemed a little tense. Just wanted to check we good." His defenses crumbled. He looked genuinely surprised, then almost relieved. He admitted he'd been feeling a lot of pressure at work, dealing with his own imposter syndrome, and he'd been lashing out. That honest conversation, initiated by my newfound confidence, turned him from a critic into a supporter. It turns out, sometimes holding your ground isn't about winning a fight. It's about opening the door to connection. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to yell to be heard. Confidence isn't about knowing the perfect words. It is knowing you can handle the moment with dignity, grace, and an unwavering belief in your own worth. As the great philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You have the power to choose your reaction. Now I invite you to try one of these strategies this week. Just one. Next time you feel that familiar tightening in your chest, that urge to shrink, remember these tools. Which one will you try first? Share your story or comment the strategy you'll use below. You were never powerless. You were just quiet. Now it's time to speak.